Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2019 anime preview discussion. This time I will be discussing the preview for episode 22, so let's get to it. So in episode 22, Ash and Go will head to the Hoenn Region, to Littleroot Town more specifically. They will go there because they want to see the migration of the Beautifly. It's funny that Go tries to catch a Wurmple because he already caught 3 of them a while back, but they all evolved into Cascoon, meaning that Go will end up with 3 Dustox. This is of course not good for someone who wants to complete the Pokedex. Maybe that's what leads to this episode. Go wants to catch Silcoon and Beautifly directly, or he wants to try his luck with more Wurmple. However, the focus of this episode is Raboot. Raboot has acted very cold and distant ever since it evolved back in episode 17, but Go didn't really say anything about it until episode 22, where it seems Go finally calls Raboot out on its attitude. This leads to an argument with Go saying, "Do you really hate me that much?" Raboot is seen giving apples to a wild Lombre and a pair of wild Zigzagoon. Raboot also seems to be having fun with them, playing and smiling. Ash then asks Go where Raboot is, and Go says that it will live a happier life without him. Go seemingly releases Raboot. The episode's title is Farewell Raboot, which points to that being the case. However, I seriously doubt that Raboot will be gone forever, especially so soon. I mentioned in my Ash will catch Grookey and Sobble video that the starters are the face of the generation in question. That all 3 starters end up being owned by Ash and his traveling companions so that they can have as much screen time as possible. Raboot falls under this, therefore I seriously doubt Raboot will be left behind. Ash has left his starters behind with Professor Oak. Squirtle is still off training. He left Charizard at the Charcific Valley and he released Greninja. But all of this was after their respective series were over, so they were gone after their role was over. This is only episode 22 of the new series. It is much too soon for a starter to leave. So, there are 3 possible outcomes. The first one is that they surprise us and Go does release Raboot. They could make Raboot reappear later down the line or something like that as a special surprise or a special episode. But like I said before, I doubt this will happen. The second possible outcome, and the one that is most likely to happen, is that Go will attempt to release Raboot because he honestly thinks that Raboot hates him and that it will be happier without him. But Ash talks some sense into Go like he did back in episode 17 when Go gave up on Scorbunny because it refused to accept it couldn't learn a fire type move. So Go reconsiders his decision because of Ash and he manages to patch things up with Raboot. This seems like the most possible outcome, especially because Go would be left without a main Pokemon by his side. The third outcome is that Go releases Raboot and then Ash gets Raboot. Episode 18 was the first episode after Scorbunny's evolution, and in that episode, Ash had his first battle for the Pokemon World Championship. Throughout the episode, Raboot showed a lot of interest in battling to the point that I began to wonder if Ash would get Raboot eventually because Go does not like to battle and Ash does. So Raboot would be a better fit for Ash since it also likes to battle. I mentioned in my review of episode 18 that I thought of a new theory, but I did not want to talk about it until there was more proof. This is the theory I was referring to. Gold told Koharu in episode 20 that it's not that he doesn't like to battle, but that he doesn't like to engage in pointless battles. That if he has to battle, he will. For example, to catch Pokemon, he has to battle them, though in reality, most of his captures are Pokemon Go style, where he just throws the Pokeball and that's it. Raboot seemed to be bored all the time, and it's because it wants to battle badly. With Ash, Raboot will be able to realize its full potential. It will be able to strive in the heat of battle. What makes this outcome more likely is that something similar happened before with Ash's Weasel, who originally belonged to Dawn. However, Weasel was more interested in battling, which was at odds with Dawn's interest, which was Pokemon Contest. Likewise, Ash's Apom ended up enjoying Contest a lot more, so Ash and Dawn ended up trading Pokemon, which allowed both Pokemon to be with the trainer that suited them best. However, going back to the current situation, there is no Apom here, meaning that Ash does not have a Pokemon that he would willingly trade with Go for Raboot. Or at least I would like to think he does, and I definitely don't want to see Ash trade away Dragonite or something for Raboot. But again, Go could release Raboot, which would mean that Raboot is officially without a trainer, and then Ash could welcome it into his team. This would also fit in with 3 of Ash's Fire-type starters, Charmander, Chimchar, and Tepig, who were all abandoned by their trainers. Though in Raboot's case, it's more of it had a previous trainer as opposed to it being abandoned, because Go is obviously not going to be that harsh. However, this would still leave Go without a main Pokemon, unless Cubone steps up to fill the gap, given that it had more development than Go's other Pokemon, and it also shows up in the new ending theme next to Raboot, which could be a hint. I also imagine it would be kind of awkward for Go to travel with Ash and Raboot after such an ordeal. Also, Ash just caught Riolu in episode 21, and 1 episode later he catches another Pokemon. That would be too soon. Plus, this image that we can consider 100% accurate at this point lists what Ash's 4th capture for this series will be, and Raboot is not on here, and 2 of them are fire type to boot, meaning that there would be type overlapping, which has happened before, but it is unusual. Now, I would love to see Ash get Raboot because Scorbunny, Raboot, and Cinderace are my favorites of the Generation 8 starters, and I know Raboot would thrive with Ash, and Raboot just fits Ash much better. But the most likely outcome is that Raboot and Go will patch things up and they will remain together. Go might even consider battling more seriously going forward, meaning that he will train to get stronger with Raboot. But as always, all of this is speculation, based on what was shown in the preview. We won't know for sure what happens until the episode airs on April 19th, 2020. As always, I'll have a review up for it as soon as possible, so please look forward to it. Leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.